Hi, on this video, we will talk a little about the design process and how to complement or use it with coding. Well, first, I would like you to think of the world that surrounds you. Think of your home, your school, your community, your country, the world, the people that you know, and what problems can you identify? Sometimes when we ask this question, we think of like really big, huge problems that are hardly will be on our hands to solve. But we can start with smaller things to create a big impact. So instead of those big huge problems, think of things that you care about, that are close to you, people that you know. Maybe it's a student or your grandfather or your community or a cause or a topic that you really care about, or something sometimes can be something that doesn't feel quite right. And in all of these things, there's potential to make improvements and to make life better. So for this, as we are always changing things, creating things, and solving problems as humans for from day one, uh, there are many ways and processes that exist to solve a problem. A very popular one from many years till present has been the design thinking process. Now, if you go ahead and search for design process, design thinking process, engineering design process, there are all of these steps followed by studios, but big organizations, by companies, to create new projects, to help people, to improve the way we solve problems, to create software, any kind of things. So you may find different approaches and different steps for this process. So do not be surprised, and I want you to think that are so many different ways to solve a problem and to have a process. So try to experiment and to work with many steps and iterations, and you will find what works better for you. Or if you are teaching, uh, try to find what makes more sense with your timing, with your students, what your goals, and it will be fine. So right now I want you to present you the, I feel it's like the most standard or simplified one, and it has 5 different steps. The first one is empathize. To solve a problem, we need to empathize with the people that we are working or creating for. So, by observing and being in other people's shoes, we can understand better what the struggles or the problem is. Then we need to define the problem and define how we can uh, use this project to solve it. Now, the ideate part is a very fun part because we get to brainstorm or get different ideas on how we can solve the problem. And sometimes we get stuck at this point because uh, we try to use a lot of logic, and on this part, all wild and crazy ideas are welcome. It doesn't matter that it doesn't make a lot of sense. And then we get to pick some ideas to prototype. To prototype is not a final result, and is often done with different materials and things we have in hand to test to later on test what we are trying to solve and then make improvements. So usually we go through these steps, but it's an iterative process, meaning that it can go from one stage to the other and go back and go in circles and repeat again all over and over again. And I would like to share with you this quote. It's from the founder and creator of the organization IDEO, that it's in Silicon Valley. His name is Tim Brown, and they use a lot this design thinking process to solve problems. And the interesting thing here is that they collaborate with different organizations, initiatives, and business to solve different problems of all topics. So it says, design thinking it's a human-centered approach to innovation that draws from the designer's toolkit to integrate the needs of people, the possibilities of technology, and the requirements for business success. So here we are talking about some key parts. We have a human centered approach, like we are not designing just because we like it. It's for someone, and it's for improving someone else's life. Can be a single person or can be a whole community or a specific group. And it's the key to achieving innovation, and integrates the needs of people, the current technology, and also different community needs. So here, the technology, in this case, we're using the microbit, and we have been talking about coding and all of that. Is not the final goal, but how can we use technology to solve a problem? So technology is a tool, and tools are always changing. So right now we will explore how to use the knowledge that we and the skills we have gained throughout the course to solve a problem with what we can. And maybe later we can think of how can this grow bigger. And well, these steps and this design thinking process, engineering design process, or however you want to call it, is used in different areas or fields. But I find the connection between design and coding uh, very incredible, because on one side we learn coding, we learn logic, we learn this new language and how to create projects. But if we connect it with the design thinking process, we will create projects that matter and that connect to communities and that help improve someone else's life. So it's usually by using focusing on user-centered design, by embracing failure, and this is um, embraced because is, as I said, is iterative. So it can go from one step that didn't work and I need to test and I'm not sure about, and then I tested and then I realized I had another problem, or I didn't realize a person needed another thing, or I didn't consider this. Okay, it's not a failure. I can go to the beginning and try again and make adjustments. So it's always with this mindset of creating and improving and testing and doing all over again. And there's no perfect product, there's not perfect result, but what matters is the process. And it also uh, builds on problem solving skills. Instead of just learning how to code, we learn to how to think and how to observe and think and care for others and solve their problems. And collaboration and iteration, this is very important because it's not only us, it's great for working in teams, but also in teams for coding, but also in teams with the other people that will help us throughout our projects, and embracing the creative mindsets instead of being consumers and just thinking of getting our problem solved. We have the tools to create a solution. Well, and there are so many things and ways to follow this process, but I will share with you an example that was used by some of my students with by using the make code. And well, first we needed to define a problem and a person that we were working with. So by this, you can use a fiction one, you can use someone that you know, or the students can bring a community or idea that they already have. In this case, we were working with this uh, fictitious person called Andrea. She's 45, and we were exploring the topic about health. So we have a brief about her. um, so she lives with her husband. She's overweight. She works from home. She owns a dog. She cares about her future and health, etc. Well, this is what we know about Andrea, and this tool that you find on the left is called the empathy map. As I said, it's not the only way to do it. It's just a very visual and intuitive tool that you can easily use with your students. So let's try to interview or to get information from Andrea and about her current state in life. So this um, this tool will help us analyze what is she saying, doing, thinking, and feeling, and that this gives you a better landscape of where are we standing and what can we do to help her. Well, this is before we decide what we are doing. We don't have idea right now. It's just understanding and empathizing with Andrea. And now that we got a better understanding of what is happening with her, we can frame the problem by creating a question. So by working with questions is more clear and is better to not lose track of what we are working on. So here the question was, how can we help Andrea to create healthy habits by using the microbit? So as we are working with MakeCode and the microbit, we have to specify, because I can suggest, well, go to the doctor, but that doesn't involve the technology we are trying to use. So that's the good thing about limiting the question, that we get some constraints and that we can work with what we have and that it's in our hands to create something. And this doesn't mean that the microbit will solve all the problems, but it's a great way to train our brains to solve the problems with the tools that we have in hand. So on this part, the students did brainstorming. That's they ideate what can they do to help Andrea to create healthy habits by using the microbit. So they did um, a brainstorm, and on this stage, always wild ideas are welcome. It doesn't have to make sense at all. Then we can read, we can connect ideas, we can make some changes and use what works better for us. So after this, each student went on a different path. So it's prototyping time. So they will pick what project resonated best with them, or the way they are trying to solve the problem. So at the end, we got so many different options for helping this person create healthy habits at home. And it's very interesting because even if we have the same problem, all the minds will solve it differently. So encourage your students to think outside the box and to explore uh, different things, and also how will they connect the skills and the coding that they already know and learn along the way. So they were coding, and they were again iterating between, okay, I have this idea, let's test it. Okay, I will add a thing, I will erase this thing, I will connect with the project of my teammate, etc. And at the end they presented the projects, and it was very fun to see. So in this case, it was this person, but it can also be a community, another person, a situation, another classmate. You can work with any topic that you want. So, well, now that you learn about this, let us know your thoughts, and we would like you to design a wearable to solve a problem or improve a task. That can be related to any topic that you care about, to a person that you pick, or something that has been on your mind. And a wearable, it's a device that you can wear, and using the microbit is great for this because we can code and we can simulate, but we can bring it to life and test it like in the physical world. So try to include maybe sensors or all the coding blocks that you already did or not, and you will research someone. And don't forget to first pick a problem, then imagine, brainstorm possible solutions, plan how you will do it. And by plan can be, okay, how can I use the microbit to solve the problem? But also, what do I need? Do I need like extra accessories or physical stuff? Or what coding blocks will I explore? Or maybe like I don't know how to do this right now, but I need to research, etc. And then create. And don't forget that when you create something, it's about testing and trying it out, and maybe it will stay like that, but maybe it will evolve, and it will be just like an attempt that you will learn from it. And share with us, share on Flipgrid, um, what person or community is your project for, what are you trying to solve, and how does it work. Well, thank you, and I hope uh, you think about how to connect the design process that can look in a very different ways, but at the end, it's a way to make our students think and create solutions for problems that we care about.